Do you ever get a flashback when you at a certain location when you walk along and you go, "Oh, I remember that when I was here last time." Did you get that?
Is that deja vu or is that just a flash? Oh no, it's actually you're in this place and this happened and you remember that thing. Yeah, I know. I had one with you the other day, but I'll tell you mine when
I had
finished.
Oh, I had two the other day because we can only walk within 5 kilometres of our house. So I've been walking a lot of the local area.
Yeah.
With the kids, get them out of the house. And I was walking past the boom gates at the railway crossing, and I remember the time.
Yeah.
I was standing there, and the boom gates came down, and the train's approaching, and a young woman walked in front of the boom gates, in front of the cars, in a dressing gown. I thought, what's going on here? And she had like an old guy with a camera. She dropped the dressing gown and was nude, and he was taking photos.
No, geez, that one's burnt into your memory.
Well, the train came and kind of blocked everything. I'm like, move the train. But the tradie who was looking straight at her had a big smile on his face when he drove off. He was like, I don't know, what was... like her dad?
What was it? What do you think it was? Do you think it was...
some sort of photo shoot. But his camera looked a bit crap. He didn't look like an old guy. He was like 65 at least, 70 maybe. I don't know. You'd imagine him taking photos for the local paper. But I don't think it's in the local paper.
Now, do you think at that point you're allowed to pass comment, as in...
Yes.
You don't think it's inappropriate to pass comment, given that they're in the nude?
And in public, in front of the boom gates. Yeah, of course.
So, and would you say something, but you wouldn't want to say anything sexual, but would you say something like, what would you say? Looking good. I would
just say, what's that photo for? I would generally want to know, what's that? What are you taking that photo for? Is it People magazine? What's happening here? Is it, but that wasn't that hit me. And then we walked to the park, Darling Gardens, I think they're called. And then I had another I was having flashbacks. I remember the time we were with the kids and there was some teenage girls having a picnic and they're sitting on a rug, having a good time. Then this young man walked up.
I'm going to say both of these scenarios do sound like the start of something a bit of
untowards.
Untowards, yeah. Anyway, carry on.
Well, wait. This young man walks up and he's got 2 plastic bags and he sits near the girls, but a little bit too close, and it's a big park, mate. You don't have to sit near the girls, mate. It's a big park.
Yeah.
He sits down and out of one plastic bag he pulls a can of Jim Beam, right? That's like a big day. And then out of the other bag he's got a snake, like a real life snake.
Oh. That's fantastic.
He sort of like lies there and he starts playing with the snake. The girls clock the snake and start like, he's got a snake, and they get their stuff and move, and he's like, girls, hey, it's okay, it won't bite you. Do you want to hold it?
And what did you do? Did you just you just stood and see? Because if you had to film that, you would have made the Channel 10 News for sure.
Yeah, and I was just like, where's the thinking behind this young man? I want to meet some girls. I'm going to go down the park. I need a bit of Dutch courage, so I get my 1 can of Jim Beam, but I'll bring my snake in a plastic bag.
Hey, Dale, what do you... I imagine he lives with his mum. I don't know why I think that. He lives with his mum.
Absolutely.
And, darling, what are you doing this morning? Oh, I might just go down the park. With your snake? You will put it in a bag. Put it in a bag and take something to drink. Oh, I'll take some Jim Beam. I've got something to drink, and I'll get out of the park, drink my Jim Beam, and show people a snake. That's a good day, son. You have a good morning. That's good.
Yeah. Not the best method to meet a girl, I reckon, is bring a snake in a plastic bag. That's not the best.
No.
I don't think that's not the best method.
There is, snakes at the right time can be quite impressive. But
of course. Yeah. Of course. Like if someone has a spider or a pet rat, a certain type of person likes that kind of thing. But to bring a snake in a plastic bag to the park as a courting method, I don't know.
Well,
so your flashback?
I'm really embarrassed now. It's really embarrassed. You said to me the other day that you were interviewing Brian Nankervis for the debrief.
Yes.
And it's for some reason, whenever I think of Brian Nankervis, he used to do warm-ups on Have You Been Paying Attention? And he used to turn up with his dinner, which on this night was fried rice. And and rather than chopsticks, rather than a plastic fork, he'd brought his own spoon. And I went,
fair enough.
And I said, and am I wrong in saying this? You can't eat fried rice with a spoon. Can you? Can you? He was the first person I ever saw eating fried rice with a spoon, because normally fried rice is a fork dish. Is it
fork?
Not? It's a fork.
It's a fork.
But when but think about it for a second. The rice, it's all over the shop. It's not really clumping up. You've got other bits. You've got bits of what do you got? Bacon or whatever.
Yeah.
You've got chicken. You've got vegetables. And so the other day, I had a double flashback. I had some fried rice. I took it outside. I chose a spoon specifically.
Wow.
And I was sitting out the back eating my fried rice going, Brian Nankerv has taught me this, and Dave O'Neill is speaking to him on the debrief this week. So it was a win-win. And now I always eat fried rice with a spoon. But you go to a Chinese takeaway, I don't think they're giving you a spoon. I think they're giving you a fork, or they're giving you chopsticks.
Absolutely.
But if you were to go to a Chinese restaurant, let's just say with someone that you don't know very well, I don't know whether you're pulling out the spoon, are you?
No.
You're pulling out the chopsticks, aren't you?
Yeah, to impress people, definitely. That's funny you mentioned Brian, because after we talked on the podcast, I stopped recording and I said goodbye to him, and he said, we didn't mention, because we talked about the Jamone show, how you, Brian, we all worked on the Jamone sketch show, and he said we didn't mention that at the rap party, Brian would always invite me to sit in, I think it was my car, and have a Indonesian cigarette. And and I remember this is after the rap party. I remember the first year you came out and we were sitting in the car and you banged on the window and said, "Hey, Cheech and Chong," and walked off. But then the next year when we have the rap party, we did the same thing, and you came out again and banged on the window again and said, "Cheech and Chong." And I said, "You
really?"
said, yeah. And I said, "You said that last year."
I know, it's embarrassing. That's because I've told this story before. Whenever I leave, if I'm leaving a restaurant and I get recognised and people call me over to the table, I always say, "Don't worry about the bill. I own the restaurant." And the guy said to me, "Yeah, you said that last time." It's so embarrassing. You're going, seriously? I'm known for doing a joke here and there, and I'm doing the same joke year. Well, I apologise. Cheech and Chong. I've got to say, funny. In the moment, very funny. Anyway.
Very funny.
Save us now. Flashback. We're back from our woo. There's that funny music coming back.
Yeah, here we go.
Here we go.
Hello and welcome to Somehow Related, and now please welcome your hosts Glenn Robbins and Dave O'Neill.
Well, welcome to the podcast. What a great day. It's first day of spring, Glenn, in Melbourne. Here we are.
Okay. Here's a quick. You've been on Spicks and Specs. Great song by Earth, Wind and Fire.
Oh, no.
What is it?
No, I don't know.
Do you remember 23rd of September? I'm embarrassing myself.
Is it about spring, Earth, Wind and Fire?
Well, it's just about spring. I don't know. I just listened to the September part. So today we were recording this in September, and we're all excited because we're moving away. We're in Victoria. We're going through lockdown 4, stage 4, and it's a double whammy. We've had winter and we've had lockdown, and it's been hard.
And the numbers are dropping, and they're at 70 today, so only one away from the magic number that I'm waiting for.
Well, it's my brother's birthday. How's this? It's my brother's birthday today, 1st of September, and he's turning
69.
69. So,
whoa.
God.
Which brother is that? We should say happy birthday. Is it
Phil?
Or?
Yeah, Phil.
Phil,
who is the phone ball king.
Ball.
Yeah, if you listen to, I think, last week's episode or the week before, he fixed the phone ball. Anyway, somehow related, 2 topics that I just realised that maybe we've had some new listeners come on. Maybe they don't know how the show works. 2 topics. You wouldn't think they are related, but they are. And Sam helps us out. She finds them, presents them, and then at the end she tells us what the real story is. But we go on a bit of a journey, so don't go and Google it. Don't go look it up. Just see if you can work out perhaps what you think the answer is. So are we ready?
We are ready. What are the topics, Sam?
The Terminator film and $1.
$1.
Wow, I won't say my favourite things, but I didn't mind the Terminator movies.
I didn't mind the Terminator. I don't know whether how many. There was 3 of them, wasn't there?
There's one recently too, I think, wasn't it? Didn't they have a remake or something?
Has someone else done the role of Arnie? Arnold Schwarzenegger. Is
He's
he
the best thing.
Is he the most impersonated? I remember Tony Martin did a brilliant version of him years ago.
On the Late Show.
Yeah, on the Late Show.
Ivan Reitman's a genius. That's what he kept saying. Ivan Reitman's a genius.
Ivan Reitman, who's he?
He's a director, not of Terminator. He directed him in, I don't know, other movies. Cops, I think maybe. Or...
James Cameron is the director of Terminator.
Yeah. The guy who did Titanic. Yeah. Absolutely.
So let's talk.
What's the name of the woman in it? The woman tweeted the other day. It was really funny. The main lead,
Linda Hamilton.
Yeah. She. I think it was her that tweeted. I don't know, but are we getting taken over by robots or something like that? And then she put a little thing. I just realised that I was in the Terminator or something like that. That was quite funny. She just tweeted something about robots taking over the world, and then she had to add, sorry, I just realised I was in the Terminator.
Because didn't the Terminator, was it the Terminator? I get mixed up. There was the policeman in the Terminator? No, is that a different movie?
No, that's it. And then he, it's the guy with the black hair. Yeah, that's the Terminator.
What's the plot
Absolutely.
of the, I'm just trying to remember, the plot of the Terminator is he's coming, I think he comes from 2029 or something.
That's right.
He comes back to 1980 something or other to kill someone who's going to have a baby. I think he's trying to kill Linda Hamilton, who's going to have a son, and the son's going to save the world. So it's going to stop the world from being saved. So the Terminator is a bad guy. He's the bad guy.
Yeah, that's right. And is that Arnold Schwarzenegger? Or is that the other dude?
That's Arnold Schwarzenegger. But why? Who's the policeman? That's the running policeman.
That's the Terminator.
Is this, yeah. And who's the one that when you shoot him, it opens up like Mercury, and then it closes the hole closes over again? Who's that?
No, that's the other dude, isn't it? Oh God, we're no good.
Oh, the people who know the film is just going to be yelling at the
you idiots!
Oh,
you
God,
idiots.
Everybody knows that.
I can't. I remember going to the movies to see it. I remember that, and I remember Terminator 2 as well. But I can't remember much else.
Yeah, I don't much. I know that O.J. Simpson was meant to play the Terminator.
Oh, really?
Yeah, originally. Yeah. And I know that Arnie, I think, in the film, especially in the first one, he only has about 50 words or something. It's like cliche after cliche after, I'll be back,
I'll be back.
There's a story about that I saw it on Graham Norton where he said he didn't want to say I'll be back because he couldn't get the I'll be. He couldn't say I'll be.
Impression?
I'll be. And he tried to get him to change it to I'll be. And from that, and James Cameron said, "Listen, buddy, I'll do the writing, you do the acting, you do the line the way I told you," and he did.
Yeah, right. Yeah, there's a resistance fighter called. Doesn't a guy come back called Kyle who then also helps Sarah and protects Sarah from the Terminator? But I read a thing about the I'll Be Back. The guy who wrote I'll Be Back,
James Cameron.
No, there was a screenwriter who wrote I'll Be Back. He added that into the script. He was like a script doctor, and he got paid like some amazing amount of money just to write those 3 words. And he goes, but you know what? He goes, when my dad gets up to go from the lounge into the kitchen, he turns around and he goes, I'll be back. And he goes, so I've earned my money. Like, everyone's saying it,
Yeah, it's interesting. Because I think what they do in a lot of the time, they have different writers to come in. I think with this film especially, they have the action scene writers, and then they have the dialogue scene writers. So they have different people, which I find it bizarre.
You've never done that? I've done joke doctoring before on TV shows.
Is it hard?
It can be hard because you can't change. I mean, I've made the mistake of going, oh, you should do this and you should do that and you should change this, and they don't want that.
No, they don't want that, no.
Because it's already been through an enormous process. They just want jokes added to the scene that's on target and on message for what's going on, just to improve the joke a little bit. You know what I mean?
And does it work? Because you could argue that the humour really should come out of the characters rather than being pushed into the characters.
It can work. I mean, you don't want that situation where, like, on those sitcoms, like something like, I remember watching Hey Dad, and they would just say, oh, I'm going to the lounge room. Oh, you're going to the lounge room like Kylie Minogue holds a blah, blah, blah. You're like, what? That's got nothing to do with anything.
It's stick and bait. It's just stuck on. Yeah, absolutely.
But you've helped me do that. When we did the Dave pilot, you helped me joke doctor it a bit for sure. You're capable of that kind of job for sure.
I think I'm good with ideas, and not so much joke. I'm not a joke meister. I'm good at I'm good at going. It's funny when. Wouldn't it be funny if? So I'm kind of doing what you were trying to do to them. I'm not with jokes. I don't know. There were guys like really good. Doug McLeod was he was one of the writers on the Comedy Company, and he's just unbelievable. Had this Tom Gleisner is just encyclopedic memory of jokes and an ability. They're surgeons. Their ability to move one word to make the joke improve is just phenomenal. And you're like that. But you're very good. I mean, listen to this podcast.
No, because I've been working with Carl Chandler from the Dum Dum Club, and he does a lot of. And I'm appearing on a show soon, and he's. I can't say too much, but it is a show I've been on before. That's coming back. Can't say too much, Glenn.
Oh, I'm just trying to put it together. There's the number 54.
Don't tell anyone.
Okay.
Anyway, he's a good joke writer because I'll go.
He's very good. Very good.
I'll go. We need something on this. You'll go. Yeah, bang, 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 and he also gives volume. He'll give you 10 jokes, which is good.
Yeah.
Which I can't. I get one joke, and I'm just like I got one thing. I got two things.
Anyway, I read that the Terminator, there was a boy in it or something, and because they had so much trouble making the film, that was shut down for different. I can't remember why it was shut down. Might have been a strike or something. But the boy that was in it went from being a little boy, went through puberty. So by the time they started filming again, his voice had broken. So they had to go back and reshoot some scenes and redo other scenes and put his broken voice in as opposed to his little boy voice. So that's a weird thing when kids go through puberty. Have your boys gone through?
My oldest one, he's 17.
Talk
they go.
Hey, Dad, can I go around and see my friends?
Well, it's always in the choir, isn't it? When the you know when we're thinking of The Cop, that was the second movie where he's like he's a more advanced. Robert Patrick was the actor. I've just remembered it.
Well done.
And he plays the more advanced in Terminator 2 Judgment Day, was it? He plays the more advanced Terminator, I think.
So he's a Terminator. No, he's not the Terminator.
I think he's
a version of it. He's another Terminator. Oh,
yeah.
People will write into Facebook and tell us where we got it wrong, and if you want to find the answer, then we could ask Sam. But let's not worry about it. You know,
he's an advanced. I think he's an advanced. Like
cyborg? Is that what they are?
Shapeshifter Terminator. He's a new model of Terminator. Oh, they got rid of me. I've got a new... you know when you go in the shop and there's the old Terminator, then there's like vacuum cleaners and there's a new one? That's what he is, I think.
You want the new Terminator. Yeah. And who were those? They used to do a lot of it on Saturday Night Live. Some of those guys were really good at... Was that Arnie they were doing with... You're going to lift the weightlifter guys? Remember those guys on?
Yeah. Well, I don't know, but Arnold Schwarzenegger is fascinating because he obviously grew up in Austria and he became a weightlifting champion there and then moved to America. And his parents are like, "What are you?" Because he just had this dream to be a big movie. And look at him. He moved to America. He could hardly speak English. He became a movie star, and then he married a Kennedy. It's just incredible,
a fairy tale. And I think The Rock was announced as the highest making actor in and no disrespect, but he's an ex-wrestler, and their acting skills they're chopped. They ain't got the chops yet because they got the body and they got the. I guess it's the likable, and they're big. So like they're big likable men. Yeah. Are they not?
Yeah, they are.
I know. Yeah.
And Arnie, look, it didn't pan out for him because he had an affair with his nanny, and the Kennedy divorced him. Yeah. They had the nanny had a kid that looked like him, so it was kind of like, who's that over there that looks like Arnie? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know who that is. I don't know who that is. I don't know. But now I saw like a couple of years ago he was doing a gym in Sunshine here in Melbourne in the western part of the suburbs had bought Arnie out and he was doing like a session you could pay to go along. Yeah.
Like some sort of motivational thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
One day I'm going to be a big movie star, marry a Kennedy, and also go to a gym in Sunshine. Yeah, I'll be back. I'll be there. I'll be there, everyone.
On his resume.
And you could get all different levels of. I looked into it, and someone went. I don't know whether it was a journalist or a friend. Someone wrote an article about it, so it was hilarious. There were different levels of. If you paid like $1,000, you got to meet him. But then if you didn't pay much money, you didn't get to meet him. You had to stand far away, and he's quite little. He's quite little.
He'd be quite short, I would imagine.
Yeah, he's short.
Yeah, those guys, movie stars are often short and have big heads.
Yeah, it's up there. I'll be back. I can't stop doing it. I'm not very good. Your Arnie was good.
I think there's people who crack the code, and I think I'm not a great, but you have moments where you get it. You go, I don't know what I just did. I think I just got it, and then it goes away again. If you think about it, you can't do it. Okay.
Consider yourself erased. Remember that movie? There was another one, Erased, where he would erase people. Consider yourself erased. And then he did comedy movies, didn't he? He did was it Twins?
Twins, yeah. He was pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, Danny DeVito, is that right?
Yeah. Good sense of humour, obviously, Arnie.
And then he was the Lord Mayor, the Chairman, the Governor of California.
You got the Governor of California. That's right. Oh, I'm speaking like a South African now. I've lost the accent.
It's gone. So it goes off. It spins out. You lose it.
Now, what is it? $1 bill.
$1. Yeah, $1.
Okay.
You know what I think American. Of when I think of $1? I think there's not many things you can get for $1, but I can get my car vacuumed for $1. Not get it the vacuum cleaner at the at the cleaning place, because I go one of those ones where you do it yourself.
Yeah.
Where it's got the clicker. You go into the vacuum section, $1, and you got to, and different places have different amounts of time. You go, it's a bit of a race. You got to see if I can do the whole car for $1.
Doesn't last. $1 doesn't last very long.
You do a front seat, back seat, and then I'm getting towards the back seat, and I go, I reckon I'm going to go for the boot, and I'll get into the boot, and I'll get halfway through the boot, and there'll be a whole lot of crap that I didn't get to, and it goes, now do I do a whole $1 for the other half of the boot? I don't think so.
No. Leave the boot. Don't worry about the boot.
Leave the boot.
Leave the boot. $1. I noticed at the Nova vending machine where I've been a bit lately, cans of Coke are $1.50. That's pretty cheap. But I remember cans of Coke were $1. Just get a can of Coke for $1. That's a good.
Because I'm not up on, but I would have thought things like cans of Coke and chocolate bars are usually a bit over $1. $1.30, $1.50.
They are these days. There's not much you can get for $1.
Unless you're at the petrol station and they've got them in front of you and they go 3 for $5 or something. Or have you ever taken up those things at the petrol station?
Yes.
Have you?
Absolutely. They did this study. Really? Yeah, and they asked this petrol station guy, service station owner who owns several service stations, why do you do that? And he goes, I'll tell you why. I did a survey, I did some research, and I told all my attendants to do the big cherry ripe 2 for $3 and then do that for several weeks and then stop doing it, and sales increased by like 40% when they did it. Sales of all that junk food increases because it works. It would
drive you, if you're the guy doing it, it would drive you nuts.
I love the different levels of enthusiasm. So there's a guy on my survey just goes, "How you going, mate? Cherry ripe 2 for $3. Yeah, okay, fair enough." But then there's this guy, and he's gung ho. He goes, "How you going, sir? Cherry ripe 2 for $3. No, you should buy Twix 3 for $4. What about we got milk?" And he's got about 8. He keeps going.
Spruiker.
He's like a spruiker.
Yeah.
But it's one of the great jokes. I think I've told it before, but cherry ripe 2 for $3. Oh, really? How much for one? Oh, hang on a minute. Oh, hang on, $2.20. Yeah, I'll have the other one. Yeah.
He'd love that. I
love that. I hate that joke.
So
absolutely.
Now for
you know what you get for $1? Giant Freddo for $1. They're about $1.
Is that giant Freddo? Has it got something inside it? Is it?
No,
just straight Freddo.
Plain chocolate, mate.
It's not a soft centre. Oh, yeah, dumb question for me, obviously. Yeah.
A caramel koala, giant caramel koala. And also some of those really cheaper chocolate bars like a Chomp used to be. They were $1.
You've changed shows. Yeah, changed shows.
Listen to the Junkies.
You're doing Junkies, which is a great show with Kitty Flanagan.
Yeah,
and you get these, not only the passion, you get the science as well. And good on you too for doing
research.
That show, doing very well. Go on now. Here's the quiz question for our older. I don't reckon you'll get this.
Who was on the $1 bill?
No.
Okay.
When did we go from pounds and pence to to decimal currency? What date?
When we went from imperial to metric?
No, was it all in one day? No.
Yes. Well,
No.
yeah. Oh, yes. Yeah. Okay. Well, did they do it gradually? They probably did it gradually.
No, I'm talking about when we went from pounds, shillings, and pens to dollars and to dollars and.
That was 1967, I reckon.
No,
Or 68.
And all the older
64.
listeners are now
64.
singing the song went something like this: on the 14th of February 1966. That was on the 14th of February 1966. We didn't use pounds, shillings. Now that would have made me. Where was I? Still in primary school.
Well, I was one.
You were one. So there you go.
Yeah.
In fairness, you don't know what that is. So.
And who was on the dollar bill? We had dollar bills, didn't we? Remember dollar bills? Who was on the dollar bill? Who was on the dollar bill? It was I can remember his face, but I don't know.
Was he? Am I seeing an aeroplane? Am I seeing a?
I can't remember. Well, let's ask Sam. Sam, who was on the Australian dollar bill?
Dollar bill.
The $1 bill in Australia was in circulation for less than 20 years from 1966 to 1984. They had the Queen on one side and illustrations by Indigenous Australian artist David Malingai on the other.
Wow, the Queen.
It's Queen. She got the
Queen.
gig for the dollar.
Yes.
Yeah, I remember the dollar bill being a little bit smaller, and then the $2 bill hung around for a while, but that also went, and we went straight to the $5 bill. But the dollar bill, it was sort of it was a bit insipid, wasn't it? Really?
Yeah, brownie kind of.
Yeah, and it used to get you'd often put your hand in your pocket and you'd feel a scrunched up one right down the bottom. You go, and what have I got here? Oh, I might have $10. Oh no, it's only $1.
That's $1.
Okay, I just happen to have $1 coin in my pocket.
What?
Do you know who is on or what is on the dollar coin? You probably won't. And I don't know. This one, I can't read the date on this.
Yep.
Hang on. I just dropped it on the desk.
Let me tell you, kangaroos.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah.
It's a group of kangaroos. That would
kangaroos.
be what's a group of kangaroos called?
A group.
Ah.
I don't know.
A herd.
A coven. A coven.
Yeah,
A jumpy. No idea.
So the dollar is, I mean, you just don't, you can't buy anything for it. Oh, no, you can buy this is an ad for 7-Eleven. They should be our sponsor. They have coffee for $1. I know you don't drink coffee.
Yes, they do. And also,
it's not bad. It's not bad. It's like it's through a machine. It is beans and it makes that noise and it's the real deal and it's not bad for $1. What were we going to say?
No, I was going to say McDonald's they have $1 ice creams too. Yeah.
McDonald's have a lot of things. You get dollar burgers sometimes. You can get those cones. They're under $1. The soft
they were
cones.
30 cents for a while. They're 30 cents, but I think they've gone up. But obviously, we talk about the American dollar bill. I would say I don't think we're talking about this. If it's the Terminator, and their dollar bills, they look the same. They all look the same, don't they?
When you've if you're in the States and you've got a wallet full of money, you don't know how much money you've got.
No.
When in Australia, you look down, you see all the different colours. You go, I'm good. We've got plenty of different colours.
Mate, you got the lobster. You've got the what are the other terms for the money?
Yeah, the
lobster,
pineapple.
The pineapple.
Yeah.
Yes, I love that. The pineapple.
And what's the 20? 20's lobster. That's a lobster.
I think the 20's the lobster. The pineapple's a 50.
And the big greenie. That's a
the greenie. We just make one up for that. Yeah, you got the greenie. We'll make one up. You got your greenie. Chuck a couple of greenies and a pineapple and a lobster, mate. There we go.
So I've often been out in the States, and
I don't want any of that shrapnel. None of that shrapnel.
No shrapnel, mate. No shrapnel. And I haven't. I remember I was out and I got in a taxi. It was in New York City, and I said to the guy, I looked at my wallet, I thought I had enough, and then I counted, I only had $6. And I said, mate, I've only got $6, so just drive for $6 and then drop me off. I'll walk the rest of the way. He drove for $6 and he kept on going, mate, what are you doing? He goes, mate, I'm not dropping you in this part of town. This is a bad part of town. And he took me home. He took me all the way home. He took me all the way back to the hotel for probably $12. But I only gave him the $6, and I think I nearly gave him a hug because I might not be sitting here today if it wasn't for that good Samaritan.
Taxi driver.
Hey,
I love going to a third world country where you're a millionaire. You know what I mean? Where you get all your notes.
No,
you're like, look at me, kids.
I know. But
I've 500 grand.
I've been in Bali and I'm buying a pair of sunglasses and then going, and this is what you're basically saying to them. I'll give you $2.50. And he's saying, no, I want $3.50. And you get him down to $3. And I remember going, no, too much. And he really yelled at me because I was haggling over 30 cents or something. Yeah. You go, seriously, Glenn, give him whatever he wants and then double it. Because it's going to go from $5 to $7. It's just, really. Hey, here's an interesting question. And again, for our older audience, and mine is probably different to yours, talking about dollars. What was the very first wage you ever got? I know this is grandpa talk, but what was your very first wage? It would have been, was it in a packet or was it? Absolutely
was in a, I'm talking part-time jobs. I worked at the supermarket and I got a wage and I reckon it was like $32 in an envelope, in that little envelope.
With a bit of coin in there as well.
Yes.
Because I love it when, even now when we do TV shows, you get a thing called per diems and you get an envelope with cash in it, and they've worked it out. So you get coiners there as well. You get, you get $75, $75.38, and they give you that. You're going, seriously?
That's great. What was your first wage? Do you remember?
I worked in an insurance company, so this is a full job, working 5 days a week, 9 to 5, $80.
I love it. On a Thursday? Get paid on a Thursday?
Paid on a Thursday, and that little light brown packet, you tear the top, and you looked in, and there were clean, fresh, crisp $20 notes ready to be pulled out and to fatten up your wallet. And you
had to line up. When I worked in my first job at the Red Cross in the 80s, like in the office there, we had to line up and get our pay. You remember that? They didn't bring it around. You had to line up and get your pay.
I don't. Yeah,
Gee, payday was a good day, wasn't it? Oh, that was.
It was just the best day, and then you could burn through that. Yeah. And I'll tell you what else I think about in terms of. I know this is an American dollar, so we've got that in our head, and I reckon I know this answer, by the way. I reckon I've got a pretty good inkling on it. It's alarming when you're at a parking meter and you go, okay, you put in a couple. You put in. No, they won't take 5-cent pieces. They just go. The parking meter laughs at you. It won't take 50-cent pieces. 20-cent pieces. It goes. I reckon it gives you about a minute for 20 cents, and then for $1, I reckon. What are you getting for $1? 5 minutes? What do you?
It's incredible. The parking meters in the parking meters in the CBD. I had to park in the city the other day. They're like $8.60 an hour.
And you're going. It doesn't make sense. You're going. If I want to stay here for an hour, I've got to carry around in my car.
Yeah, $8.60.
$8. I just don't have that amount of coin.
No.
And so then you've got to use a credit card. Sometimes the credit card doesn't work, and then there was a line of people behind you, and you're pressing all. It's like an app playing an app, trying to play a game. You're going, press that, push that. It goes, and then it gets quite, aggressive with it. Just wait. We're checking. We're ringing you. We're contacting your bank. A parking meter is contacting my bank.
Having conversation.
It's going, we've got one of your people down here. He's trying to get parking for an hour. Is that okay with you? Bank goes, let him stay for an hour. That's fine. Okay, walk away.
Well, there used to be there was a comic called Kirk McKenzie, and he said he was washing dishes in the city, and he was getting like $5 an hour, and he looked out and he said, that parking meter is earning more money than me. An hour.
So true.
It's a good joke.
It's a very good joke. I don't know. The only other thing I know about, I could tell you, and I've told it before, is that when I went to the Mint in the US, I've told this story before.
Yeah, you did. You have.
Do you remember what the story is?
You know the Mint. You know what it is, don't you? It's a license to print money. Shut up, Dad.
I'll tell the story again for our new listeners.
Go on. You're on topic.
It's on topic. Yep. My brother and 3 of us went to the States. For some reason, we went to the Mint. Don't know why. And it was all glassed in, and we looked through the windows, watching the money, and we were on the tour. And and it was kind of going through different corridors, looking into different rooms. Yeah. We ran ahead, pulled a whole lot of money out of our wallets, and then walked back the other way against the crowd and said to them, "Go around there. They're giving away free samples." You should have seen those people run. Seriously, you should have seen. Go quick. They haven't got many. But I got a 10, a 50. Look, I got a 50. Look. Go. Just up around there. Keep going further.
So funny.
Still funny.
Still funny.
Still
Well,
funny.
let's have some thinking music. Why don't we get an Arnie impressionist in here?
Well, the thing is, we could have for our older listeners, we could have the jingle, 14th of February 1966. I mean, I think that might bore the crap out of you. We could have Tony Martin. What's his name? He came out. This is a guy. He's an actor. He came out and he visited a show that we were working on at the Foxtel.
Oh yeah, he was in Trainwreck with Amy Poehler.
Bill
not Amy Poehler. Amy
Bill
Schumer.
Hader.
Bill Hader. Oh, he's great. He's in Barry. Have you seen Barry?
No, he's great, and he's great with impressions. I saw him on Conan O'Brien, and he does
Arnie.
He does Arnie really well, and I think he did because when his child gets angry, when his baby girl gets angry, she kind of turns into Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Wow.
So I don't know, Sam, if you can find that, it's very funny.
I love Bill Hader.
Yeah. Can we have a listen to that?
Our 2-year-old right now, I'll say, "How old are you?" And she goes, "I'm 4.5," which is her older sister's 4.5. And I go, "No, you're not. You're not 4.5." And then she grabs my face and goes, 4.5.
That was also kind of a Schwarzenegger a little bit.
Yeah. I'm 4.5, father. You got to get out of here. Get out of this. The bombing there. Get out. Dad, come on. You got to go. I need to pull up on now. You need to go to watch Peppa Pig. Come on.
Great stuff. Very funny. We won't try and do our accents.
No, you can't compare to that. That was very, very good.
Well, if you think you know it, I'll have a crack. I think the dollar bill, maybe they issued a special dollar bill because the Terminator was so big with Arnie on it. Yeah, special Arnie good. Terminator dollar bill.
No, that's good.
What's your answer?
It's got something to do with selling the rights. I reckon James Cameron, or I reckon he's either sold the image or he's said, "I'll give you this if you let me direct the movie." Because I reckon it was early in James Cameron's career.
Oh, wow.
And he's gone, and he wasn't that well known as a director. And he said, "Here's a script, here's an idea that I've developed. I'll give you the whole idea for $1, and I get to direct the film." I reckon and it's worked for him. Anyway, I think that's right. But anyway, let's see what Sam has to say.
What's the answer, Sam?
Writer and director of The Terminator James Cameron sold the rights to the original film for $1. Cameron sold the rights to the film on the condition that he would be allowed to direct it. Studios were apprehensive about letting Cameron direct the film because he hadn't done such a good job with the film Piranha 2. The now classic film was shot for under $7 million and released in 1984. It then made over $70 million at the box office. Cameron said in a 2009 interview, "I wish I hadn't sold the rights for $1. If I had a little time machine and I could only send back something the length of a tweet, it would be don't sell."
Well, there you go. You were right.
So I'm basically right. It's an interesting idea, isn't it? To sort of go, "I'll give you that with that."
You have been listening to Somehow Related with Glenn Robbins and Dave O'Neill.
It's a bit like sometimes if you're approached with an idea, or a network approaches you with an idea, you will go, "Look, I do the idea and I want to be in it." And you go, "Well, fair enough." And sometimes networks go, "We like the idea, but we don't want you." Or sometimes or sometimes it'll be the opposite. They'll go, "We've got this idea and we want you. And if you come on board, then we will give you, I don't know, some sort of back end rights sort of thing."
It is interesting. Like we're speaking about Brian A. Curves, and on my recent episode of the Debrief, he talks about Rock Quiz, which is a great show hosted by Julia Zamiro, and he's like the judge character on it at the time. And he was originally the host in the pilot, but they came back, SBS, and said, "You can't be the host. We need someone with a bit more of an ethnic background." And he said, and I said, it takes a big man to say, "Yeah, all right, I'll step aside." Because I said a lot of comics would go, no way, man.
Yeah, it's mine
That's
my way or the highway. Yeah, well, fair enough.
And he said it hurt him for a while, but he made the mature decision to go, "Well, if we can get a show up, let's do it." And she's obviously great. So,
and it's when you really think about it, it's the smart way to go. because
And I've actually, I got a message via Tom Gleisner that he wanted me to break it to you. You're not going to be the next Russell Coight. I'm doing it now. So,
what's your name going to be?
I'm still Russell, but we just don't think people will notice.
Oh, it's like, because there's been lots of TV shows like that where
they replace someone.
And they don't. I think did that happen in Neighbours recently? I think it did.
Yes. Yeah, and Roseanne famously, they replaced Becky, was it? One of the daughters, and they expected people not to notice. I love it when they do that. I love it.
So, I don't want to have to break the news to you, but somehow related is someone else is going to take over.
Oh, you're getting Hughesian, aren't you? I knew it. It's another Dave, so no one will notice.
I'm getting.
Dave
I can't think. I'm trying to think of but it would be a disparaging comment to make if I was to go down market. So I won't say anything. I'll just go. I'm just trying to think of someone. It's kind of the guy from the so and so. Oh, I can't think of anything.
At least
this is where you're good. Yeah. This is where you're good. You think of good jokes. I can't think of jokes in the moment. But anyway,
there's another fat guy. We're getting Mikey Robbins.
Well, I remember with Martin Malloy, it was the fat kid from Hey Dad. That's who we'll get. The fat kid from Hey Dad is
Matthew
now he's
Matthew
grown
Kroc.
up. He's grown up, and it's me and him doing Somehow Related. Oh,
and he's actually that'll be good because he's actually a Mormon now. So
is he really?
Yes. Yeah, they did a story on him on some show. He's a Mormon.
Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that.
Imagine him knocking on your door. I'd like to talk to you about God. Well, I'd like to talk to you about Hey Dad.
Well, we shouldn't mention, Hey Dad, because there was that.
He's in jail. Mr. Kelly's in jail.
Oh, no. Know, we were just wrapping up the episode really well, and I brought up a really sour tone.
Mr. Kelly.
And now we have to sort of back out of it without making inappropriate.
I used to do jokes when I first started, and a lot of people say I look like the fat kid from Hey Dad growing up. That used to be my opening joke, but then it's all been soiled now.
Oh yeah, well you can't do that.
Can't do it.
I remember one of your first jokes. Thanks for coming to my 20. No.
Oh yes, yeah, you're good with memory. I used to come on and I used to tap the mic and go, "Hi everyone, thanks for coming to my 21st."
There you go. Yeah, there you go.
Hope you bought a present. And,
look. Let's talk about. And I'm willing to sell this for $1.
Yep.
This is a TV show idea. If we've got some producers out there, and by the way, I had a very nice thing from someone in the US saying they enjoyed the show. Here's the idea for the show. It's called The First Five, and you talk about because when you start in stand-up comedy. It's kind of like if you can do 5 minutes, you're kind of legitimate, nearly legitimate.
Yes.
And I would be fascinated.
As Ben Elton said, you do your 5, you get your 5 right. You do your 10, you get your 10 right.
That's
you do
right.
Your 15, you get your 15 right. Yeah.
Yeah. And can you remember that you've done a joke from your first 5? The 5. So that 5 minutes, I reckon there's a show where comedians sit down and they talk you through the evolution of their first 5.
Wow. And can you remember your first 5? Can you remember?
I can remember bits and pieces of it. I remember doing a routine about dipping a teddy bear in a cup of tea and leaving it there for too long. I remember doing a joke about, it was a joke about, that the drug squad had this new thing where if you want to dob someone in for growing dope.
Hey, I used to do that bit. Operation Noah. Operation Noah.
Yeah, Operation Noah. That's right.
Yeah.
And my joke was they did like a telethon, and that they'd go.
Oh, wow.
They read out the dob-ins like a telethon. Mrs. Jones and one thaggy, one acre. Thanks very much.
Fantastic. Because my joke was that I used to live with a stoner, and he went around and changed the phone number to our phone number. So all these old ladies are ringing up our house, going, "Hello, Operation Noah," and my mate would go, "Oh yeah, how are you? Yeah, I'd like to report 100 marijuana plants. Yeah, give us your address down, and I'll be right over." And then he'd go, and if the joke went well, you would keep going. You know what I mean? And then he'd go. "And are the plants ready for smoking yet?" and she said, "Well, I don't know, but my Herbert's just had a bong and he's off his nut." That was
Okay, we've put it down on here now. This is an idea. We're putting bids out there for it. We're willing to sell it for $1 if you and I are in it.
Yeah, sure. Okay. Sell, bought, buy, whatever.
$1.50. Or about 3 for 2. About 3 for 2. How about like the
$2 for $3.
Yeah, well,
$2 for $3.
chuck in 2 for $3. A couple of other shows as well. Got a couple of ideas, a couple of scripts we got lying in the bottom drawer, and that idea. Job done. Okay, just sit back and wait for the phone to ring.
It's Operation Noah.